We got you, man. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Coach, how you doing? Good to see you. Still kicking. There you go. Yes, sir. Yeah, we still they don't take care of it. We got Ben Johnson. Paying the drone. Yeah. The guy that don't get about the other day. April, yeah. February. Yeah. Yeah. I know. And ours, our house is standing up yeah, I know. I know.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep.
I was always fun, then they did away with it, then they wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to our governing board meeting. Thanks for coming out. Mr. Clerk, the roll call, if you will, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Mayor Newborn.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Langdon.
Here.
Commissioner Newell. Present. Mr. Khan.
Here.
Commissioner Galt.
Here.
And Commissioner Davis.
Very good. Now that the meeting has been called to order, we want to welcome all of the visitors who desire to speak, to let you know, just hang on a little bit. Tonight we have a tremendous amount of good stuff to go through instead of bad stuff. We've been having bad stuff and we've been getting a bad name, but tonight we're going to try to get some things cleared up. If you want to speak, we're going to give you 3 minutes on whatever topic you want to speak about. Speak truth, but try not to say anything to hurt or damage anyone like you wouldn't want anyone to hurt or damage you. We're trying to straighten this thing out as far as our town goes. Is there, I see Bishop Williams in the house.
That's right.
Sir, would you mind coming up and doing the invocation for us?
Shall we pray? Eternal God, our Father in heaven, we come again to say thank you for the many blessings that thou have bestowed upon us. Thank you for allowing us to gather ourselves together one more time. God, we ask that you will come and be with us in this meeting, lead and guide us in the way that thou will have us to go. We thank you, God, for being so good, so kind, and so merciful. I would look over this year and over this month, we see how that things have been happening. Floods, shooting, and wrecks, and all of that. God, but we thank you today that you have allowed us to come together one more time without any hurt, harm, or damage coming upon us that you didn't take us through. So we thank you now, we praise you. We ask that you look at the country, look at this world. Bless it in the way that you see we need to be blessed. We know you're able. We thank you for what you already done. And we thank you, God, for what you're going to do. Bless each area and all our members of this board and committee Bless them in a miraculous way. Most of all, bless the town of Ayden and all the surrounding town. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Bishop Williams, for that. I would also like to state the fact that we have a couple of our own that has some things to happen. One being Chief Fig Wally, that everybody knows. Please continue to keep him in your prayers. Prayers move things.
Yes.
We can move things in prayer if we humbly go to God and ask him to have mercy on the chief. And I'm told that Barry Wood will be filling in for him.
Amen.
And also, I would like to take a moment of silence. Y'all bear with me tonight. I'm going heart touch. I'm quite sure Coach Davis and Tommy and everybody's, but let's have a moment of silence for Cherry Stokes, who has been so instrumental to our recreational park. If you would, please. And his family. Thank you. At this time, I would like retired Staff Sergeant Mayor Pro Tem Langley to lead us in our pledge of allegiance. Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Chief. We have some revisions to the agenda we plan to have this morning with one of our senior citizens here, to have her, to move her up right after the public comments. And I need a motion and a second to do that. Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Langley, second by Commissioner Newell. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Now, are there any other comments, questions, or revisions to the agenda? We're good? No. We already made a motion to approve it as written. Let me get a motion and a second on that. Try to get a second. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem, second by Commissioner Conlon. Thank you so much. All right, now we're getting ready to open up our public comments. The first one on the list would be, and we're asking you to keep it to 3 minutes or less, if you would be Mr. James Andrews. Mr. Andrews, please come up and state your name, address, and all of this.
Yes. Good evening. My name is James Andrews, and my question is, can we talk to the apartment complex at the end of Magellan Court to have them cut the field across the street from our houses? That thing hasn't been cut. We're having trees grow up 20 feet, and it's a mess. And all I wanted to do is have them cut it down. The people that had it before, F.L. Gardner, he would cut it in April and also October. He would have it nice, at least cut down. And this thing is growing out of proportion on Magellan. And it's, if you have a neighborhood that looks like that, you got kids that are gonna just, do what they want because it's not being taken care of. And I understand the people that own the apartment are in Greensboro, but they should have a handyman or something, at least to do that. And second of all, there was two houses across the street on Snow Hill Street that were burned down. And I'm frugal, I wanted one of the mailboxes. But the town, I went down to town hall, they didn't know what was going on. They sent me to the operations center. No one knows why those houses were burned down. They couldn't give me an answer. And being on the town, it's part of the town, why can't I get an answer? That's the thing. When I go down to town hall to talk to the girls, they're not getting relayed on what's going on. It's supposed to be a friendly town, family-friendly town, but if we can't talk to anyone, like communication is terrible anymore. But why can't the girls know what's going on in the town? It's just frustrating. And I know I did less than 3 minutes, but whatever. It's all done. I said my piece.
Well, we thank you, Mr. Andrews, for saying your piece.
You're welcome.
And I will
Now
manage-
sit down. I know.
Well, please let me finish.
Yes,
With
yes.
all due respect, sir.
Yes.
Our manager is, taking notes, and he's gonna take care of what needs to be taken care of.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. We're gonna call up Mr. Eric Walls next.
Good evening, Mayor Newbern,
Good evening,
Mr.
sir.
Howard, Commissioners. I come before you this evening regarding the major site plan and major subdivision approval process text amendment on the agenda for tonight's meeting. All the planning board in this situation has asked for is the right to have input on the site and development plans brought before the town, which is one of the central reasons for the planning board to even exist. The inability to do that has made the whole process that much less open and forthright, and has essentially neutered the authority and input of the planning board, thereby diminishing citizens' oversight and voice in the planning process. The governing board still has final say, as well as the ability to override any planning board decision with a simple majority vote. I would like to remind the governing board that the planning board voted unanimously to have the town staff draw up this amendment, and it also voted unanimously to approve the amendment to be sent to you for final approval. As someone in this town has said many times, working together works. I humbly ask that you approve this amendment and give some oversight back to the planning board so that together we can make that hopeful phrase more of a reality for our town and its citizens. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Walls, for your comments. Next up, Mr. Billy Merrill. Please.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good evening, sir.
council members, town manager, town staff. Several months ago, I received a sunshine list from the planning director. And when I received that list, there was some plans on it, and I'd done what I'd done when I was on the planning board for 14 years back in the late 90s. And I wrote some comments and sent them back to them. Come to find out, I as a citizen can't do that. That's right. I cannot do that. So I got to looking into the ordinance. And in the ordinance it says, section 110.120 of the UDO states, this UDA is intended to be administered in an effective manner that provides appropriate opportunities for public involvement and an efficient development process. So this text amendment is proposed is to put back the review process that Eric has mentioned for the town planning board, and for that to go to the commissioners, and for the commissioners to have the final say on that. Now, some municipalities choose to do what is now in the ordinance. That was changed back in April 21st, 2021. Now, the town before then operated perfectly fine in this process. There was a small change from it being a public hearing held to a quasi-judicial process that the state legislatures changed. So the text amendment is to reverse what was done here, put it back into that process, and let the citizens have a vote. Let the public have a vote the way the UDO was actually written to do so. And so I'd like each of you to consider what is being requested. It was unanimous from all the planning board onto it, and the county did a good job of finding all the changes that were made. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller, for your comments. Next up, Ms. Cora Warren, please. She needs help. Yes, I'm on the phone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I moved from one apartment.
State your name and your address so we can have that.
I live at Coral Warren, 364B, Auburn Park Circle in Ayden, North Carolina.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
I moved from 358C to 364B. Doctor wrote the paper for me to move on account of health issue. While I was in 358, the lights were cut off for $10. I had just come out of the hospital, the lights were cut off for $10, and I had to pay $95. I moved to 364, I had to pay a $500 deposit, plus they put a note on my door saying that they didn't receive the money that I paid for lights, which they had the money, and I had to pay some more money. They had the money, but the money was credited to the wrong address.
I'm listening. Is there anything else you would like to say regarding that, the whole situation or anything? Because we, Coach Davis and myself and probably some other government board members, has been hearing about this, and we wanted your version out so that we could make a good, solid decision about what's right and what's wrong.
I paid $500 to get the lights cut on where I'm living at now, and I had lights at 358. The apartment that I moved from, I had lights, and I had to pay lights again. I paid the deposit. I had to pay the last month rent plus the last payment of the light on the last apartment I moved from. And then when I moved to 364, I had to pay a $500 deposit.
Is this in this moving, are you talking about within the same complex or moving
Same
out?
complex.
You gotta pay $500.
Mhm.
Now, this, the part about the $10, I think you said,
I had just come out of the hospital and I been paying the rent, but there was $10 left on it. I didn't know it because I had just come out and picked more hospital. And they cut the lights off, they stayed off for 10 minutes, I had to pay $95. To get the lights off.
is that it for your comments? Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming out. Be safe. Thank you for taking the time to come out. Mrs. Lauren. Next up is Mrs. Sarah Coltrane.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to echo the comments from Mr. Merrill and Mr. Wall in their statements about the major site plan approval process. Secondly, I'm actually here on behalf of Downtown Ayden with a positive update for you. Since June, our board has recruited and established volunteers for the Main Street 4-point approach. The committees are organization, design, promotion, and economic vitality. Our initial plan is to update the National Historic Registry and develop a relationship with the residents and business owners of our historic district. The registry is 30 years old, and it does not include current mailing addresses. So we're working with the Historic Preservation Office in Greenville and the Ayden Museum to update this registry so it's current. Alongside the update, we're taking inventory of and preparing a budget for new gateway and street signs into the district. Currently, we have a mix of brown and green street signs, and we want to coordinate it and balance things so residents and visitors know they are entering our historic district. Finally, we're bringing the district together by encouraging an annual theme marketing plan that each business and resident can participate in. We project this plan to be in its final stages by spring, so we're moving fast. Our historic district is the frame to our wonderful downtown, and we believe if we work together, we can showcase the best of Ayden. So thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you next month with a further update.
Thank you for coming up and sharing with us. Next up is Mr. Peter Osgood.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to speak here. I want to push your attention on your pickup list for trash. You have stated on the public works page that a guy comes on with a truck and he's all alone and he just picks up the barrel with the minutes, you know, he can do it. However, underneath where you have trash pickup, you have yard. Yard pickup to me means I have a good sized lot. I have a lot of bags or lawn clippings and stuff like that. I put in paper bags. Well, I can't do that anymore. And prestige with plastic bags, and I have 4 using plastic bags. So I think this needs to be looked at and fixed. The Public Works is one thing, but they put out this thing, and it doesn't make any sense to me. You cannot, we need to have a yard pickup for those yards. The other thing is, and I know this has been brought up here before, because I talk to people, that's on the filling process here. I'll be brief. In my yard are 4 gardens, and of course my lawn. And during the winter, I don't use much water at all. And during the summer, I use a lot of water. It doesn't go down the drain. And I've heard the response part of this has been, get a second water heater. Well, that's great. My suggestion is, those of us that individuals report out to the town, if you're one of the individuals like me, petition this board to do an averaging so that we pay a high average and to drop the 2 lowest numbers for the summer season. If you take that from the winter season, high average, and put that into the summer season. That's what I got. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for coming up. Is there anyone else who wants to speak and didn't get a chance to name on the sign up sheet? Now's the time. No. Yes, ma'am?
Ma'am, I just would like to make sure y'all all received my email. I'll just refrain from speaking, but I did send all you guys an email today, and I just wanted to make sure you all received that email.
You're Mr. McLaughlin?
Yes, Stephanie McCollum.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good
Yes,
deal.
ma'am.
That's all, I just wanted to make sure. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you for that. All right, there isn't anyone else. I'm gonna close the public comment section and Mr. Manager Scott Howard.
The last comment we had was, I believe, regular June meeting, the bit meeting in July.
Right.
And then during the budget season, it was just about budget. And so that was, they were wanting a list of utility customers, and we couldn't provide names, but we could provide the number of utility customers we had and that kind of stuff. And that was sent out by the clerk, I believe.
All right. I see Mr. what they have the word presentations up here. I don't think do we have any?
Not at this time, sir.
Not
We
at
got
this
that every 10 minutes.
Okay, very good. Mr. Smith. We have you next.
Yeah, before I get, I knew you guys made an amendment to your board or your agenda. Was this after public comment or was this somewhere later?
It's already been done.
No, it's been
Okay,
done.
so,
Yeah, we
okay,
passed it.
okay,
Yes, sir.
perfect, okay. Yes, so tonight, you do have a public hearing on a zoning map amendment submitted by Mr. Kenneth Smith. He is requesting a zoning map amendment to change the zoning from RA 20 residential agriculture B2 highway business district for approximately 1.64 acres of property located at 4012 Emma Cannon Road. This consists of parcel 21270. You should have a map in your packet. This is at the intersection of NC 102 East and Emma Cannon Road. As you recall, the zoning district currently is RA 20, so that's the residential zoning district. The minimum lot size of 20,000 square feet. They are requesting a change to B2, which is our highway commercial district. Future land use designation does show for low density residential. Just as a note, across the street, Pitt County does have commercially zoned property catty corner of this intersection. This project is located in the town of ETJ. It is surrounded by RA 20 to the west, south, and southeast. Again, to the northeast, a portion of that parcel across the intersection is zoned general commercial under the county zoning regulations. Commercial uses of this particular property predate our RA zoning and the adoption of zoning regulations by the town. Currently, or previously, I guess, the commercial uses, Eastern Mechanical Group and Jones and Smith Contractor both held previous commercial activities in this location. Any application to change moving forward for potential other tenants in the facilities would require basically an appeal, since the current zoning would not allow that. So for clarification, just to clean things up, the owner is asking to have that zoning change to B2 commercial to reflect the current operations of that property. Staff does recommend approval of that rezoning. While it's not consistent with the land use plan, it is reasonable in the public interest. Being said, the two buildings on that site have been operated in a commercial manner for many years. And also at their May meeting, the planning board did vote unanimously to recommend approval of that zoning request, finding it reasonable in public interest, and did agree with staff's findings. And as you'll recall, any rezoning, once you hold the public hearing, you'll make your motion and accept one of the provided consistency statements for your review, whether you do choose to approve the rezoning or deny it. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions before you open the public hearing.
Yes, sir. Are there any questions for Assistant Manager Smith? Questions? No question for you, so at this time, I'd like to open the public hearing for all who want to participate. You can come up. Oh, okay.
I am Ken Smith, and
Hey, Ken.
how y'all doing? Most businesses there have been operating, I'm 65, and I can't remember when they started. So, a long, long time, and it's basically because the town has grown that way, that the zoning just hasn't caught up to me till now, because I've been operating my own businesses, but now one of them's for rent, so I need to change that, so that's all I ask for. Any questions you might have before I sit down?
Any questions for Mr. Smith? Whatsoever? None whatsoever?
Thanks.
All right, anyone else? Not, we're gonna close the public hearing, and I'm gonna read this statement. By motion, we need to approve or deny the enclosed zoning map amendment ordinance number 25-26-02. As part of the motion, one of the following consistency statements must be read per state statute. The first one is, based on the information provided at the public hearing and in the staff report and the policies of the town comprehensive plan, the board finds that while the request is inconsistent with the aforementioned plan, that the request is reasonable and in the public interest, And I move to approve zoning map amendment ordinance number 25-26-02, or based on information provided at the public hearing and in the staff report and the policies of the town comprehensive plan, the board finds that the request is inconsistent with the aforementioned plan. There is a more appropriate zoning classification, and therefore denial is reasonable and in the public interest. I move to deny zoning map amendment ordinance number 25-26-02. So what is the pleasure of the board? Motion to approve, made by Commissioner Newell, second by Mayor Pro Tem Langley. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Stephen, is there anything else? Are we good? Motion carries. Mr.
Yeah, good evening, and, I'm gonna, we've got two back-to-back public hearings, but, same project. This first public hearing is again related to the town's, sewer pump station number 1 sanitary sewer improvements project, for a program amendment number 1. And, what we've got, the town was originally awarded $1.6 million for replacement of the sanitary, or, rehabilitation of sanitary sewer pump station number 1, and replacement of all of the gravity sewer collection lines, manholes along Club Drive and Iowa Drive, which was Carmichael Mobile Home Park, but it's now Ayden Mobile Estates. We went through the process, we received bids, and our bids exceeded our available funds, and so we have asked and have gotten tentative approval from the state for supplemental grant funds in the amount of $270,000. And the state is going to authorize those funds through a different fiscal year funding program such that we have to carve out $270,000 worth of work, take it out of the original project grant, and we have to do that by program amendment. So what we have identified based on our low bid is that we can remove the 2,170 feet of gravity sewer collection lines and 9 manholes that are part of the original scope, take those out of the $1.6 million project, and next public hearing, we're gonna add them back into the supplemental funding request. But the state is requiring that we modify the existing $1.6 million grant to formally remove those activities from that grant. So, what we have done is advertise a public hearing for that consideration, and what we are asking for is to receive any public comment or questions, and move on from there. So, be glad to answer any questions, or certainly open up any public comment.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Moore?
The current low bid contractor, so if we remove what you just said, the 9 manholes and the gravity bed lines at $273,000, and is the current low bid contractor going to come back once we have those funds and complete the job for $273 or less?
Yes. Yes,
So it's not going to be like we had to rebid it, or they come back with a higher amount because they got the previous amount, completed that, or got that done, and then come back and want more money.
From a contractual standpoint, you are gonna have one construction contract, that's gonna bid all of the work. This is gonna be an administrative procedure where how we requisition the funds from the state is gonna be to requisition from 2 grants.
So this is just for the money side of it?
Correct.
This has nothing to do
Nothing to do
with
with the construction contracts have been awarded, and contracts are, under execution right now.
What's the timeline?
The timeline is that if we get everything approved, tonight and submitted, that we'll have a pre-construction conference next week, and we'll issue the notice to proceed so that they can start working within the next 2.5 weeks.
It seems like we've been working on this for a while, or you have been. You've been working on this for a while.
Yes.
So what I'm asking is, and I appreciate that, What I'm asking on the additional funds, what's the timeline?
The timeline is if everything goes well tonight, the funds have already been allocated to the town of Ayden. We have to go through the procedural process of having these two public hearings tonight so that they can formally assign a new grant number for the supplemental funds that they have tentatively awarded us.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Commissioner Goff, Commissioner Davis?
What's the completion date on this, Rich? The completion date is gonna be dependent upon the notice to proceed date, and he's gonna have 180 calendar days to complete, once we establish that timeline. One of the things we went ahead and did was that, we were trying to remove obstacles, and so we went ahead and went through all the shop drawing review process and contract execution, so hopefully we can be in the position that when, and we've done construction stakeout also. So we are trying to get this thing started in 2 weeks so that, we can try to get this thing finished by hopefully the end of this calendar year.
Yes.
Just for public record and for those that are here, can you, explain to us what this project will accomplish?
This project, we've got sanitary sewer pump station number 1, which is, an existing above-ground pump station that's currently physically located within the floodplain. This pump station has been impacted by floodwaters on several occasions. Certainly when you got pumps that are dependent upon being on top of the ground, you get water in them, that's not good. And we've had to replace the control panels and everything else. And so, one of the things that this project does is that it, flood proofs that wet well. It modifies the pump station so that there's submersible pumps. It will elevate the controls and, so that it will not be at risk for flood damage. In addition, this project has, about 2,200 foot of 40-year-old sewer collection lines that we have videoed, we've documented, that we've got inflow infiltration in the sewer lines and in the manholes. And this project will replace all of that gravity sewer lines, all of those sewer pump and manholes, and we'll also put in brand new sewer services for each of the residents that are back there.
Which will then improve our IMI.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Exactly, what are you gonna need from us tonight, if anything, regarding this?
I need we certainly want to hear public comment, and then at the close of that, what I would ask for consideration from the town board to authorize the mayor to approve the minutes for this public hearing, so not for the entire board meeting, just for this public hearing, and to authorize signature for the program amendment number 1 submittal.
So you need some comments from,
Ask for comments, yes.
comments.
Yes.
Okay. Well, at this time, I would like to open it up for comments for Mr. Moore. None? None up here? Okay. And I need to be authorized to approve the meeting minutes for this public hearing now.
Yes, sir.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem, second by Commissioner Newell. All in, any discussion, first of all? No discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. So this is another public hearing. And for that $270,000 worth of scope that you just removed by program amendment, we are gonna formally add that into supplemental funding for a grant number to be assigned by the Division of Water Infrastructure. And, with that, the state has asked, or is requiring that we make a formal application for the supplemental funding that they have tentatively awarded to us, identifying the specific scope for the $270,000, which will again be 2,170 foot of gravity sewer and 9 manholes. And in support of a formal application submittal for those supplemental funds, the state is requiring that we conduct a public hearing to receive comments related to formal requests for those $270,000 grant funds. So we're going to ask for, again, public comment to allow us to formally get the $270,000 of supplemental money. At the end of that public comment period, we're going to ask that the town, again, again, authorize the mayor to sign the minutes to this public hearing and to approve, submittal of a formal application for $270,000 that's already been allocated to you.
Floor is now open for public comment. If there's none, you can proceed. And, what we're gonna need is a motion. Motion from Commissioner Goff this time around, and second by Mayor Pro Tem. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Motion carried.
Thank you. I'll be back.
All right. What's the pleasure of the board regarding the consent agenda? Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Langley, second by Commissioner Johnny Davis. Any
I didn't realize something too. Do we, pull out, public record instruction also? We can discuss that.
Right, you wanna discuss that tonight, or is that what you're saying?
I have a couple of questions.
Okay, very good. Ms. Cook, we did have a good discussion on that. She wants to pull it out, so we're gonna.
Pull it out and then bring it back in discussion.
Yeah.
Sure. We discussed that you guys didn't make the change during the approval of the agenda, but you can, motion and vote on moving it out and then approving the consent agenda separately.
Need a motion? And a second. Need a second now. Second, motion by Commissioner Collins, second by Commissioner Noor. Any discussion to the motion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All right, floor is now open. Not according to.
Okay, I just had a couple of questions about public records. By reading this, we do not have these only in boxes in, printed form, we don't have them in other form.
No, the forms that are on the destruction log are forms that, according to the retention schedule, are old enough to get rid of. They are boxed up, all of them are in hard copy form, nothing's electronic format right now. And I would add, because this comment came up earlier, while the state archives is great about taking some of our records and putting them into microfiche and storing them permanently, this is not the category of records that we would get them to approve and store electronically. Once they're gone, they're gone. And they are tied to utility billing, accounts receivable, any money coming in, and then accounts payable, a lot of our bills going out. And you can see by the list, the labeling of the fiscal years that this applies to. Some categories are 3 years or more, which is the utility billing, the accounts receivable. And then on the accounts payable side, they fall under the 5-year or 3-year construction schedule, depending on which item is in the box. But it's a total of 20 boxes back there, 19 boxes back there right now. It's on that list.
And all of these are being stored because of space, I know the time.
It's a combination of a couple things. One, there's 58 boxes in there that risk getting destroyed, if not properly stored, and we don't have it locked up right now. And they're old enough to destroy them, should the board decide to do so. As soon as we can consolidate the records we are keeping, we're creating a new records room that can be secured properly, protected a little bit better from the elements and from anybody's relocating it. But this can't meet the requirements for the retention schedule properly.
Any questions for the clerk? We had a discussion earlier, and I brought some things to his attention, he wasn't here at that time, that may come into question later. As a matter of fact, some of it have come into question now, about having those records destroyed. So I think it will be safe to say what we can do, we can look at the list and gauge which ones need to go on and get destroyed, and maybe which one to kind of hold for a little bit. That's where I stand on it. Is that pretty much where you stand, Mr. Clerk?
That's what I took from your comment.
Yes, sir.
Just to let you know, the instruction log is not gonna help you understand what's in the box.
Right.
In order to better understand what you wanna keep that's related to historical activities, We're gonna have to go page by page. That is the challenge.
So it's a pleasure of the board. Okay, is that a motion? Motion by Commissioner Brian Newell, second by Commissioner Davis. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Now, I think we're gonna need a motion to do the remaining consent agenda. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem, second by Commissioner Goff. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries. All right. Mr. Rich Moore, there he is.
Did you put somebody, did you change the agenda though, or? Okay.
You can.
All right, good.
You're welcome.
Right, and so I'm gonna start, this is the, American Rescue Plan Act policies. Now, I'm gonna start off with a complaint that, the state, division, Department of Environmental Quality, manages the ARPA money through the Division of Water Infrastructure. And they have grant managers that, administer, process, and look after those programs. In the last year and a half, they have created a compliance division who's separate but a part of the Division of Water Infrastructure, where their requirement is to make sure that every community that received ARPA money, particularly those that are designated as distressed, are complying with the federal provisions that everybody agreed to when they got the money. And those agencies don't communicate. In their review of policies and procedures, they decided that the Town of Ayden needed to demonstrate and document that policies and procedures had been approved, and reached out to your prior two managers that have been gone for some time, and continued to reach out to those prior two managers. And, after not getting responses, decided that, they were gonna check the website and contact each of y'all, including, one blanket email, which would've been nice if they were gonna take the time to look on your website. They could've seen who your current manager and current people were to reach out to them. So I thought that was a little, unnecessary. But, this is a procedure that when the American Rescue Plan Act funds were allocated, they were to help communities recover from the coronavirus pandemic. The funds were, divided a little bit. Every municipal government received a direct allocation of ARPA money. So, and it was based on a cost formula, depending upon your size and other factors, and towns, when they received those monies, had to agree to participate in workshops, had to agree to comply with the federal provisions that included all these policies, and had to participate to document that the funds were spent appropriately, which the Town of Ayden did. Moving forward, ARPA monies were competitive, and the town received ARPA money for some construction projects. And again, the premise is that, when you accepted those monies, you accepted the federal provisions that went with them. And that was in the offer and assurance documents that had previously been adopted. The compliance division that has been created has decided that, in addition to you agreeing to the federal provisions, that you have to adopt the policies and procedures that are referenced in the federal legislation. And to help out communities, the state worked with the School of Government to generate templates for policies to distribute to communities to adopt, to demonstrate compliance with American Rescue Plan Act funds. And specifically, what we've got in your package is a copy of those policies and procedures, again, that you've already agreed to comply with, but these are the specific examples that have been generated through the school of government and customized to the town. And they include record retention policy. The main difference here is that the ARPA provisions require 5 years of record retention. Some other programs require 3. Includes a cost principal, allowable cost policy, conflict of interest, internal controls, and non-discrimination policy. Again, specific to ARPA funds. And what we have been tasked to do by the DEQ Compliance Office is to present these policies and procedures to all of you to recommend adoption, again, because you've already agreed to comply with all of them, and to demonstrate back to the Department of Environmental Quality that you as a board have agreed and approved these individual policies. And moving forward, if there are additional funds allocated through the American Rescue Plan Act, you will already have these policies and procedures in place. And certainly, if you were to look at them and find them of any value for any of your other normal operating policies, might be something to look at in the future. But for right now, just for the American Rescue Plan Act. So what I've included in your package is a copy of those individual policies, and are requesting that you adopt the resolution that just approves each of those policies as presented in your packet.
Any questions for Mr. Moore? If not, we need a motion for the approval of the ARPA policies. And a second. Motion by Commissioner Newell, second by Commissioner Connor. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Much
Motion
obliged.
carries.
Appreciate the help.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Rick. Okay. Mrs. Smith.
So I think I got the next 4 for you tonight. So we'll start with the voluntary annexation petition for East Ridge Section 2, Phase 4. We have received a petition requesting voluntary annexation submitted by 18 Venice Properties. This includes 24.76 acres, which is a portion of parcel 91624, located within the East Ridge subdivision. As you'll recall through the various annexation processes we've been through, general statute dictates how these go. Previously, at your June 9th meeting, the board did adopt a resolution directing the town clerk to investigate the sufficiency of the petition submitted. Tonight, in your packet, you do have that certificate of sufficiency, as well as a resolution setting a public hearing, which will be held on September the 8th. At that time, you would then consider full adoption of that annexation ordinance. So tonight, we're asking you to simply adopt the resolution setting the public hearing on that request for your September 8th board meeting. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer for you.
Any questions or comments from Mrs. Smith?
Our legal thing is really, really pretty.
Any other comments, Mrs. Smith? Okay, we're gonna need a motion and a second to adopt the resolution setting the public hearing on the annexation request for the September 8th, 2025 town board meeting.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Goff, second by Commissioner Connor. Any discussion?
I have one question.
All in favor of the motion, please let it be known by saying aye. Motion carries.
I just was curious, you don't see, town sign when you come into Ayden. Like, I didn't see it, but the town limit sign, when you say Ayden. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think they're on every entryway, but we do have, there are some, I think just across the bridge, if you're going up North Lee Street, on the other side of the bridge, there's a Ayden planning limit sign. I know there's one on Hines Drive. So there are some, I don't know if every entryway is covered.
I just like people know they're in Ayden. That's all.
Good.
Your second item tonight is the zoning text amendment that you did hear a little bit about in the public comment section earlier. As you recall, at your last meeting, we went through the public hearing process, closed the public hearing, and then as we were entertaining questions, I think the board opted to table this item for discussion tonight. Just a quick overview of that is that the Ayden Planning Board did request several reversals of previous text amendments that were passed back in 2021, which removed the quasi-judicial process for major subdivisions and site plans. All of those pages of amendments are in your packet. But again, it is simply to reverse our process to go back to how it was done previously in 2021, which was through a quasi-judicial process. Glad to answer any questions you might have on that. So again, tonight, public hearing's been closed, so we're just looking for a motion on this item.
No question for Mr.
I have
Smith.
questions. I have questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Looking through the adjustments, the changes that were presented to the planning board, and then of course presented to us. Looking at going back to 21 with quasi-judicial hearing, which is what we had, and more control quite honestly, for the planning board on major site subdivisions. The only thing that I didn't really, and it may have been this way before, on page 184, review period, and it's listed twice in the review period, on page 184 and page 186. It states if the governing board failed to act on any site master plan within 60 days, the application will be considered approved. I don't know if the governing board's ever had a situation to where something catastrophic or something happened to where, as it goes from the planning board and then comes to the board of commissioners, if something would happen within 60 days, if it was not approved or denied by the board of commissioners, it automatically gets approved. Is that something that could be either removed, or does it have to stay just like that? Which is 60 days? Is that statute?
That is dictated by state statute, yes, sir.
So by 60 days, it's automatically approved if the governing board does not address the issue.
They don't act, yes, sir.
Once it's approved by the plan. Okay. Thank you. You looking for a motion? I make a motion that we approve the new changes to go back to 21, where we have our quasi-judicial hearing instead of the TRC making the approval on things.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem, second by Commissioner Newell. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Third item I have for you tonight is the adoption of the Neuse River Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. I know we've been through this process, at least at the regional level, one other time back in 2019. But there is a resolution of adoption included as it relates to this plan. They regionalized mitigation planning probably 5 years ago. When this first started back right after Hurricane Floyd, each jurisdiction had their own mitigation plan, but as their process has evolved, we went from single plans to county or multi-jurisdictional plans, and now we're at the regional plan. This one includes Greene, Jones, Lenore, Pitt, and Wayne counties, as well as all the incorporated municipalities throughout those counties. So you can imagine, as we went through this planning process, the number of different individuals and the number of different towns that were involved in that process. This was initiated early last year, 2024, and is coming to an end. Following the adoption by our Board of Commissioners and formal certification of the plan, this did involve a series of 4 hazard mitigation planning committees, and that's where all the representatives from each of these jurisdictions came together to go through all aspects of the plan along with the state-provided consultants. There were 2 public input meetings as well. I did include the finalized mitigation strategies that were adopted or being adopted as part of this plan. majority of those look specifically at flooding, and the results of flooding, and I think, they will continue to be the focus of these type of plans, especially throughout the region, even at a regional level. I did provide a web link, for the full copy of the draft plan, and there's also tons of material of minutes from all those meetings and that kind of stuff in there. We talked to you previously, but I started this process, I believe, and I do know that the county has gone through their adoption process, at their meeting, earlier this month, or at the end of July. The biggest key takeaway from that is having an approved hazard mitigation plan that's certified by FEMA allows our town, as well as everybody else who participates, to be eligible for disaster funding. Heaven forbid, we have to go after that. So again, that's a lot of information. I'm glad to answer any questions you might have.
Any question for Mr. Smith? Need a motion then, if not, need a motion to approve the attached resolution of adoption. Can I get a motion and a second? Motion by Commissioner Newell, second by Commissioner Goff. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. The last one I do have for you tonight is the planning board appointment for the city limits alternate non-voting member. You do have 2 applications in your packet, so tonight you're to review those applications, and then you choose one of those. Just make a motion to accept that individual as a member, and they would be appointed to fill that alternate member term. I'm glad to answer any questions you might have about that position if you do have some.
Any question for Mr. Smith? No. It's a pleasure of the board. Excuse me. Two applications.
So we need these okay or decline?
Yeah, make a motion for whichever one you want in that position. Hello. You gonna make a motion? We're on page 199. Just so everybody's on the same page.
I think last time we wrote down names of the county officials. We had more than one. I know, when you have 2, you were writing down who we voted for, and then went through and saw who got the most votes.
Yeah, I think his term ends.
We know.
So that will be.
I know it's not part of that, I didn't know if it was gonna be first time.
Okay, so, all right. What you,
I'd like to, Ms. Carter.
oh, that's not. That's your motion, right? You need a second to that motion? Motion by, Commissioner Davis, second by Commissioner Connor. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. You got the motion, Mr. Clerk?
I do.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Not me.
There was 2
It's not
others.
me.
Well, no, it's not her. It's not Commissioner Connor that we're discussing. It's another lady by the same last name.
First name?
Doris Connor.
How many houses did you get, Jeremy?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Connor, would you raise your hand or something? How you doing? All right, she's in the back, y'all.
I heard 3, but in the absence of a vote, it's an automatic default yes.
So what are you saying, Mr. Clerk?
When we take the vote, Mr. Mayor, and they actually
We have talked about for a while, starting to sell some of, our parcels of real property. We have a lot, and a lot of them are not being used. A lot of them are liabilities. So we're starting out slow here, and for the board's consideration, we listed the 3 lots that we still have available. Most of them, for example, the one I looked at last time, the parcel 11137, it's 3/100 of an acre. So it's not like people can build on it or anything else. But sometimes the contiguous property owner may be interested in it. So of course the fair above board thing is to see if we want to sell it, and then first, you know, if y'all do want to do that, we need to make a motion to declare it surplus property, and then list the 3 lots, preferably by parcel number, and then also in that motion how we want to sell it. I recommend sealed bid. It's the simplest and the quickest, and it's there's probably not going to be a lot of competition for purchasing these lots, so that's why I suggest the sealed bid and not a more complicated matter. And you probably looked at them, but we've got aerial views. Mine is good enough to look up the parcel number, tax information, tax value, all of that stuff.
You said 3.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, it may just be 2. We ended up with 2, Molly, yeah. Yeah, so the other one I believe is, was that 6th Street? Yeah.
So you need a motion and a second as stated by the manager? Yeah, to sell.
Okay, I'm declared surplus property, surplus.
Motion made by Commissioner Connor, second by, I think, Commissioner Gall. Any discussion? All in favor? Yes, sir.
And just to clarify, you also make the motion to do it in a sealed bid method of way to sell
I
it?
thought it was just fair.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
But I had a question about the one on 6th Street. I thought that was already, so I thought that was part of the plan home.
Some of them were, that's why they weren't more lots, but not that one and the other. That's why we only ended up with 2. We actually had a lot, but several years ago, a lot was sold, several lots were sold to that. Begin a home or start a home or something. Yeah.
So I did made a motion that it be surplus and then see.
Right.
Okay. And then can I ask another question about the one at 300 acres? 300 acres. 0.3 acres.
Yes.
Would it be cost effective to, you know how you can feed some or over rather than going through all that? Would it be cost effective to do it that way? To the adjacent property owner or the whole?
It would be cost effective, but unfortunately, it wouldn't be an accepted way. The state dictates how we can get rid of it, and we can do it that way. It might be cheaper, but you never know.
To a private owner, we can donate it, probably won't direct it to like a charity. There are ways to do that, and it's not that way.
You have to go through the series.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, it'll be something else.
So, you good?
I'm just tracking, the motion I heard, Mr. Mayor, was, identify all 3 properties as surplus, conduct a sealed bid process, and sell all 3.
It was 3 or 2?
There were 3.
Well, what was the third one?
127,
Yeah, 25423.
and 18095.
Where is it located?
Is that the one that's, let me make sure. Parcel number.
9460. That last one.
8095.
So, page number wise, it's 212, 218,
So you good? Good motion.
Yes.
So, any more discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks.
Thank you. Action.
I have a question for you. So the sealed bids, are you gonna have minimums? Or is there just bid
Yeah,
out, or if
there's
somebody
no-
puts in $50, they can get $16,000 contract?
Well.
Well, there is one.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, I seriously doubt, I mean, we may get that, but yeah, I recommend the seal bid down.
All right, so we're back to page 233. We had Mrs. Warren up earlier. We would need, so, the reason Mrs. Warren was up earlier is because, I'm not saying she's in the same category as Mrs. Board, Mrs. Elvin Board, but they're two of our senior citizens in our town, and I feel that each one has a right to express whatever they feel isn't right, with their utility situation, and they did. Are there any questions from the board regarding Mrs. Warren's situation?
Well, I had an opportunity as well to talk to, Ms. Warren and, the town manager, and, because I was a little concerned about the dollar amount. And what I found out was the reason it was the dollar amount it was, the $500, was under the new guidelines that went into effect in December of '24, that we changed, if I'm not mistaken, in May of 2025. Her movement happened during March, during the time that the deposits were at $500 or $450 was the deposit. That was when everybody had to pay deposit. Didn't matter what your credit was. Didn't matter. Those were the guidelines from December till May, when it was readopted with the new guidelines that reduced deposits and where we actually separated the deposits and were fair on our deposits with, for instance, our ATJ. They don't, a lot of our ATJ doesn't have water and sewer, so why should they pay the same deposit as a person in town? So all that was separated to an electric deposit $225, sewer $50, and water $25 for a total of $300. I was under the impression, and we may not have voted on it, that we were going to look through our administrative side, our finance was going to look through it and adjust, or perhaps, put everybody on the same sheet of music with the new deposits. But I don't think we've done that. I don't think we voted on it. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to finance about that. But the other change that was made also by the board is that deposits would be returned after 24 months, and this is all residential, it's not commercial, it's residential only, with a good payment schedule, which means no turn-offs and on time, the deposits would be returned after 24 months. Now, Ms. Warren, again, moved during that time period that we were still under the $450 deposit. That's the reason she had the way I understand it, the $500 payment for a new deposit. And the fact that the only thing that I was told, unless the town manager can bring something forward, is she was only turned off one time, and that was the $10. Is that correct?
That was before this incident.
Before the
That she
incident?
mentioned, yes.
Right.
In the past year.
In the past year, she was turned off one time. So I don't know what is it that we're addressing tonight.
I do.
Okay.
I know that's what we're addressing. For one, for those who don't know, I'm compassionate when it comes down, particularly to our seniors and the youth of this community. Mrs. Warren had conversation with Commissioner Davis, who contacted me, and I had conversation with Mrs. Warren. As y'all can see, her condition I'll say this, and I want to go on record to say this. I'm not talking about giving away the Bank of Ayden. I never talk about that. I will never talk about giving away the Bank of Ayden or giving somebody a free ride. But I'm always going to be fair. You always know where my heart is. When it comes down to our seniors, just like Mrs. Board, the length of time that they have put into this community, into our system of things, I could see if Mrs. Warren had to move somewhere else and all of this stuff. This is the same office complex. And from what I was told, under the prescription of her doctor, she made that move. We're talking about $10 from what I understand. I don't know it all, but I'm just bringing to you all what was brought to me. Now, Coach Davis, if I'm on the wrong page, you let me know. So I can't see things, and I don't know the utility, what guys do, and all of this stuff. But I can't see her moving from one apartment to another as being so labor intensive. Whereas we gotta charge her to the way she sees it and the way I see it too, because I understand where she's coming from. To charge that amount of money to one of our seniors to move from under the recommendations of her doctor, right there in the same complex. I don't know how this turn off stuff works or turn the electricity on works. I just don't think that's would be that labor intensive, and it hurts our reputation. We're going to be judged not only as a town, but a nation. How we treat our seniors and our youth. I don't see what the big deal is, why she should be gigged for that. It's not like she has a criminal record and she's trying to live just like one day we're going to try to live. I heard Commissioner Goff in one of our meetings mention the word grace. What about some grace sometimes? We're in business. We have to make money in order to stay in business. I'm totally aware of that. But I tell you this about life. I don't know all about life, but I'll tell you this much. It's what you send out that come back to you. If you send out good and blessings, blessings are going to come back. We're talking about a senior, so we're not talking about a healthy 35-year-old woman that don't need a walker and any of this stuff. Y'all, you ain't got to look at me. I'm dropping your head. I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
She called me, I guess 3 weeks ago. And she explained the situation to me that in the same apartment complex, she said it moved from one building to the other. And she said that the town wanted her to pay $500. And she said the utility bill had already been paid, but she was in the apartment she was living in. But she had moved to another area, from the back to the front, I think, because she saw her condition. But a really big complaint was, she said, Coach, you my last resort. I said, why? She said, well, I've tried to call, and this is exactly what she said, get in touch with the town manager for 2 months. She said, I've been trying to get him somebody, tell me somebody else for 2 months, and nobody will call me back or nothing, so I'm calling you. So that's what it was.
In addition to what you just said, Commissioner Davis, just like Mrs. Board, Miss Eleanor Board, come on, y'all seen the lady. The lady wasn't pulling games, playing games. We're talking about real life situations where we can do something that's good instead of doing something that's bad to help those that came before us. We owe that to them, believe it or not. And I'm not just talking about this, people have talking about what I feel is right, and that's what I stand on. That's how I feel. I feel that she should be spared that expense. I know senior citizens I've had, grandmothers I visit, other grandmothers I do visit, nursing homes, thank God. And I get the real story before they got there. What happened to get them there? A lot of times it's stress. Bodies go down. Life hit them in a way they don't have an income like those of us that work these good jobs. They're our seniors. They paved the way for us. Miss Boyd and Miss One, they paved the way for us. And to charge her, I'm gonna just tell you point blank, to charge her $500, I'm ashamed. I am ashamed to even be named amongst them, or those that would do that to one of our seniors that has done no harm. And that's my position. I'm standing on it, and I won't move from it. Because it's the right thing to do. What if it was your mom? What if Miss Boyd was your mom? What if Miss Warren was your mom? How would you want her to be treated by this family? This is where a newborn is coming from. That's where I'm coming from. And I think that we're big enough and strong enough, even though we have some financial problems, I think we're big enough and strong enough to do the right thing in this particular situation. I would like to have a motion, and I can't make motions now that I'm in the middle, from our governing board, what to do about the situation. Go ahead, sir.
When I spoke to the town manager about the situation, and it may or may not come up again for other citizens, I was told that the current policy at our administration building on billing, that anytime a resident moves from one location to another within our city limits, that it's, and I will use the terminology that was used, it is easier to close out that account and open a new account. So my question is, did Ms. Warren have a current deposit on her previous address?
Yes,
How much was it?
it's $175.
$175. So my recommendation is our administrative staff follow the procedures from the board. So when we see something, as the mayor pointed out, that we really don't feel is something that we need to, that's not what we need to do. And I'm told it's easier and cleaner to close the account and then open a new account. Which what happened when that happened and they closed her old account to her old apartment, the deposit was $175 was refunded back to Ms. Warren, but under the guidelines that were under effect at that time, it then based on payments that had been made to the town, it now required a new deposit. So my suggestion, I'm making a motion that under Ms. Warren's situation, and I don't know how we're gonna make it happen, Mr. Manager, is that she initially had a $175 deposit up when she was on her old address. As in the future, when we have customers within the town of Ayden that move from one location to another, that we do not create, we have to change the billing address, we have to do all that, but all the billing history, if we are able to do it, should stay with the customer, good or bad. Instead of creating a totally new customer, creating a new deposit, because if that would have happened at that time, that $175 would have transferred over to her new apartment, but she would have had connection fees for the new apartment, because that is something that we have in place, but the deposit wouldn't have been affected. So, the motion is that we have someone move from, our guidelines are gonna have to be changed if we want to adopt that. That if someone within the city limits moves, or ETJ, that under electric, move from one location to another, that their deposit, if they have one in place, will go on to, or their credit standings will go on to the new location, but that will have to be changed in the guidelines. But in Ms. Warren's case, that would be she had originally $175, which she received back. That should be the deposit, if that was the deposit at the time, and then not the $5 or not the $450 is what I'm recommending. I don't know how we would go about doing that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, ma'am.
May I speak?
Ma'am?
I'd just like to say, I believe there could be an amendment or something added to your policies so that she didn't move because she wanted to. That was a medical move for her. And that certainly should make a difference,
Yes, ma'am.
no matter what the policy is. Or who they were.
What were you saying, Attorney?
Be careful discussing individual accounts in an open session, but as a policy matter, we can discuss those concerns.
Okay.
It's not an item for public hearing.
Okay.
Just
It's an action, item. And I'm gonna tell you what I'm bothered by. And I don't call myself discussing this, but I'm bothered by, just the reading of what staff recommends. It's pretty hard. I don't like that. So what do you suggest we do? Not make a motion on it, Attorney?
a motion can be made about, revisiting the policy. Absolutely. I just question against.
Okay, got it.
Individual.
Well, we need a motion there for whomever wants.
I make a motion that we review our current customer service guidelines, next board meeting.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem, second by Commissioner Newell. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. All right.
Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind,
Yes, sir.
just want to confirm, because we had a couple of motions there, mixed together. Is the last one that we voted on, a motion to review the customer service guidelines?
Correct, yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. Any questions or concerns for the staff departmental reports? Anything you want to ask the staff about anything? Anybody? Yes, ma'am?
The town liaison for the library.
Okay.
I just want to commend the library for the activities that they've been having. They had a day where they invited the public to, and had dogs from, which I don't have to give you the name of the place the dogs came from.
Pit Friends.
Pit Friends, and had them there, raise some money for Pit Friends from the people that participated. Had some dogs there to be adopted. That was one of the programs. Another one was their summer reading program, which they're ending tomorrow evening. So these are some things that the library has been doing to get public notice out there, and they have a lot of our citizens come in. They have a book club reading that comes in there and participates with that. So I just wanted to give some kudos out to the library.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ms. Rochelle, for your continuation in doing a great job with the library. You've been doing it for years. Mr. Duncan, is there anything you wish to say regarding Mr. Stokes, his value to this community or anything like that? Cherry Stokes, are you good?
You did it earlier tonight, I mean.
Good?
Yeah, Jerry was just, he was a good man. We're gonna miss him greatly as our recreation board member, and plus, years ago when he was a coach, he helped needy kids that couldn't afford to play basketball. He paid for it himself out of his own pocket. Jerry was a good man.
Thank you,
Great
sir.
he is.
Does the staff want to volunteer any information that we may need to know? Are we good with that? All right. I want to open now for board comments. Commissioner Dockett, if you would please, if you have any.
Really appreciate all of the comments here tonight and helping to lead this board. Losing a family member is very tough and very sad. I also want to commend the Ayden colored pageant for all of the young girls and young women, young ladies that participated. Several of them, this was new to them. You could tell that it was challenging for them to come out there and participate, and it was very well attended, and it was very well done. So the pageant committee can be, just, very, proud of what they've done. And, I was there for the afternoon, could not make it for the evening, and it was just a pleasure to be there. So I do commend that, group of people that put that together. You did a great job. Other than that, just thank y'all for being here and for helping us try to make the best decisions that we know how to make to better our team, because that is our goal. So thank you.
Commissioner Davis?
I just want to thank everybody for coming out, and I'd like to know if any of y'all got some really good car truck that I can ride in and car festival parade, cause I don't think we're gonna have a float, but and I'm not gonna drive my own car, so if I don't get a ride, I won't be in the parade. Thank you.
You good, Coach?
I'm good. You know, we didn't have it last year, did we?
No, sir, we're right now.
But I'm just checking it out. But I'm pretty sure I can get a ride from somebody.
Commissioner Rubel?
Again, I appreciate Coach as always. Appreciate everyone coming out. I noticed there's things around town that people see. We're working on diligently. There's more going on behind the scenes. You'll see more changes sooner rather than later. I think staff's doing a great job. Just bear with us. It takes a little time for all of our efforts to show, but hopefully they'll be showing soon. Be careful and slow.
You wanna speak on that a little bit more, Commissioner, the weather, what's potentially?
I guess everybody potentially knows we have a storm. Feedback so bad. Can you hear me now? I get too close. Is it working?
That's good.
So y'all know potentially have a hurricane coming, possibly. The amount of rainfall that we have and the rivers and all, just be patient with us and understand we're doing what we can to, get the streets clean, drainage blood out so we can handle this drainage blood. Just remember, when you get 1 inch, 2 inches of rain in an hour, it takes a little bit of time to get it off of us. So also probably prepare yourself is what we have a meeting on today. If it does, the worst case scenario is gonna be pretty bad. So get your stuff together, make sure you're prepared, and, hopefully it'll take a hard right turn. Thanks.
Commissioner,
Okay, I just want to offer my condolences to, Stokes family. I have had a chance to work beside him, look at, on the recreation commission, also our prayers go out to the fire chief. I did go to the, College Festival pageant for a little while Saturday afternoon, but I had my class reunion, I had to leave early, but I did, and it was really nice. I enjoyed it. Sorry I didn't have a chance to stay the whole while. I want to invite those that are interested, you know, someone that's interested, to be a meeting on this Thursday at 6 o'clock about housing rehabilitation at the community building. This meeting will be held at, in Greenville at the Ag Center, but because, the district from Ayden, I, asked the sponsor if they bring it to Ayden, so we don't need to be Ayden and people don't come to find out what it's all about. So if you know anybody that's interested, it's some good information, even if you don't qualify for the one sponsored by, the one that's sponsored by the government. I think it's a local church and other organizations will also be present. A shout out to the police department for riding through the community. The neighbors see you, and thank God our neighborhood is much quieter than it was last year this time. So your presence really makes a difference. And I think that's it. What day? Thursday. This Thursday at 6 o'clock at community building.
good job, thank you.
It's really kind of hard to go almost last, because the mayor's last. because everyone said so many good things, and instead of repeating everything that was said, I'll say ditto on everything that's been said. And we always, as a governing board, appreciate anyone in attendance to come and see what's happening in the town of Ayden. And we appreciate the input that we get during public comment. And I know the mayor's put that out in the past, that the manager will follow up with the public comments that were put up here. A lot of times the commissioners, following protocol, do not react to everything that comes up in public comment. But it's not that we don't care, we truly care, and we make notes as well on what was said. But everyone needs to take care, as Mayor, or actually Commissioner Newell mentioned, we don't know how this weather's gonna go, so everybody take care and try to, stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'll make mine brief. I appreciate, as y'all know, Commissioner Newell works for DOT. He has a heads up on a lot of things regarding storms and things of that nature. All the little ladies, and I call them babies and stuff, man, that participated in the pageant and all the hard work that went on behind the scenes, man, we really have something to be proud of here in Ayden, North Carolina. I was out there, a good friend of mine, John Moore, former mayor. He came and he expressed some kind words for us. John was with us back when nobody else would stick with us, way back in the day when we first started having the festival and everything. And it was good to see his feet back in our town. I was down there with him that particular morning. They unveiled their clock downtown. You're talking about something pretty. And man, it just blew me away. They were so cordial to me, it just blew me away. I mean, the little old ladies in the 80s and stuff, not just shaking hands, wanting to embrace it. And I was almost moved to tears for that kind of compassion and passion to be in a town like that. I heard Mr. Wall say tonight, he referenced the working together works. I'm the one that believes in that. God gave me that because it's a true saying. But it only works once we decide to work together. And so we have some loose ends in our town. We do have problems in our town. And we're trying to rectify those problems, because if we don't, we can't move forward to be the great town that we can be. Cherry Stokes. Mr. Corey's son. I'm going to tell y'all something. I didn't know him like Coach, Tommy, and a lot of people. But man, the last time I saw this guy, we had a great conversation. And I didn't have any idea that would be my last conversation with him. I really didn't. When I heard the news, my heart goes out to Fig too. We got to keep praying for him. I think Sammy Jones has kind of turned the corner. I think he may be all right now. We need to pray for him. We need to pray for one another. There's nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, if we're going to exist as a people, that's what we have to do. Even Mayor Pro Tem here, he may can get a prayer through for me that I couldn't get through, say, oh, you may get it, and vice versa. What's wrong with that? This is why we're going to stand strong because of prayer, and you can never get too much. If anybody in here ever had too much prayer, please do your hand like that. You can never get too much. So it's not going to take me an hour to maybe bless somebody, whether it be with Shell. I'm just calling names, Lord, just, and go to the next thing. That's what we're going to do, and that's what's going to make us strong. We have imperfections, but working together works. I thank y'all for coming out. If you need any of us for anything, I can't be mine. Let us know. We love y'all, and until the next time, be good to somebody. Thanks for coming. All right.
How are you doing? Yeah.
All right, let's pursuant to GS 14-3, 18-11, A4 to discuss matters related to the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by the public body, and including an agreement on a tentative list of economic development incentives may be offered by the public body in negotiations or to discuss matters related to military installations, closure, pursuant to, General Statute 143-318.11, A6, to consider qualifications, competence, performance, character, fitness, conditions of appointment, or conditions of initial employment of an individual public officer or employee or prospective public officer employee, or to hear or investigate a complaint, charge, or grievance by or against an individual public officer or employee.
All these people, they just went into closed session.
Focus on all in favor? All right.